Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. Guys, a very quick update video here on Solve. So we do have some good bags of the Solve.Care token. Those that haven't watched it yet, go and watch our intro video into this. This is one of my favorites in terms of the healthcare sector aspects of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. But very top line for those that aren't familiar with this one. Essentially, as we've seen the development over the last few years around sort of digital medical care, perhaps an argument to say that it's been massively enhanced, of course, over the last year and a half due to the pandemic and everything like this. We're seeing more and more privatized companies such as like Bupa and AXA, for example, producing their own medical infrastructures in place in the digital variant. And this has helped a lot of people, in my opinion. And not only that, but I do genuinely believe this has taken a gigantic impact off of health services worldwide. It's obviously something that's gradual. What I would say is, obviously I'm not a medical expert, of course, but generally speaking, common sense here, if you think there's something really wrong with you, go to the physical doctor, of course. But 9 times out of 10, you usually see something that could be easily checked out via a simple phone call or video call in particular. And I personally have been using these kind of things through a private healthcare plan that I have through work. And with Bupa, for example, with the Babylon app, which I mentioned in previous videos, it's actually really beneficial because it's 24/7 usage. So it could be like 1 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and you have like a concern or a question. Obviously, you don't want to badger them too much because it's going to put premiums up and things like that. But for me, generally, I had a hamstring injury, and I've had a lot of injuries with football over the years, and I very much know what to do with them. But this is the first time I kind of had a hamstring one. I knew it was a hamstring because I know the muscles, and I had a big sort of bulge in the back of the leg, and I knew that I'd torn it. So I actually had a physiotherapist. So I had an initial consultation with a GP and then a physiotherapist. Went through some key exercises that I could do, and we went through those visually and about the rest patterns and things like that. And I thought, this is brilliant, because normally what happened is I have to go to GP, they'll do a consultation, then I get referred, which is pretty quick through private anyway. But even with the NHS, of course, there's massive delays at the moment, just general public kind of services. And I thought, well, I don't really need to go to physio. Why do I want to waste time and money and effort when they're just going to tell me something that someone can tell me on the phone? And the practicality is I kind of knew what I'm doing. That's why I say, like, common sense. Obviously, if you don't know what you're doing and it's new to you, then obviously you want to go down the right platforms. But it's helping a lot of people out there that perhaps have lack of time, working from home or working really hard in general. It's definitely a great service kind of thing to be had. Now, Solve.Care is bringing out this aspect of it in this principle, but utilizing Solve as the tokenomics aspect in terms of paying for gas fees and transactions on the blockchain, utilizing things for the medical institutions. And this can be a range of things we've covered in the introduction video, of course, but top line stuff like transportation elements from your home to medical facilities and vice versa, and between establishments like that. The aspect of paying for medicine, paying for the aspect of care and things like that. And it works in the other way as well. It's actually contributing towards this digitalization of healthcare and paying medical experts and this, that, and the other. So it's very early, and it's definitely one of the ones I picked out personally for my portfolio very early this year, because I really liked what they're about. Now, a lot of people are saying that it's rubbish and this, that, and the other. I was like, just think ahead. Think how many more people are going to be going into a digital format of pretty much anything and everything, right? And someone made a really good point in the comments a while back. They lived in like very rural areas of Australia, right? So they were a good like 2 hours or so away from civilization, if you like, for medical care and stuff. So imagine those people where there's something really drastic and they might need some medication sent out to them or this, that, and the other. They can literally just jump on the call to a medical professional to talk to them, and speak about the problem and potentially get prescriptions sent out the next day, that kind of thing. And I thought that's brilliant, because these people might struggle. I'm sure there's many of these kind of case studies around the world, struggling from rural areas, trying to get to a developed area to find medical help. And there have been times in the last year where I have had needed like tablets, like pain reliefs and stuff for injuries and whatnot, and predominantly usually going to the doctor, wasting their time. I just literally had the phone call, explained my situation, and then within a day they were sent out to me. Or if you need them on the day, they can pretty much rush it through for you to pick up as a from your local pharmacy and stuff. So you've got to think outside the box, what this is sort of adapting to, but also the future. Yeah, everyone, majority of people are going on smartphones more and more. Because of the situation of the pandemic, it encouraged more people to think, actually, I don't need to go to the GP. Every time I went to hospital, I say it all the time, I've been like twice, probably in my lifetime, with like a broken arm and some serious like football injuries and stuff. Maybe I should stop playing. That's probably what I should take from this. But I've been in there, and majority of the people in there are just wasting time. There's no doubt about it, wasting time. It's pure nonsense of cost. Triage services of getting someone to sit down. What's your problem? Okay, so go and sit back in the waiting area, wait 3 or 4 hours, be seen, go home with some tablets, which you could have just done at home, or perhaps them sent out to you. Like I said, it's not for everything, but certainly the majority of the cases out there, it's clearly something that's going to be really beneficial moving forward. And it's not just Solve. There's loads of other projects like this, of course. But it is really interesting, this one. It's been going for a few years in terms of its serviceability. And I think it's got a great team behind it. And I think it's got great technology and great partnerships already behind it as well. I mean, we pulled out in the introduction, for example, Boehringer Ingelheim. They're huge. They're huge in the healthcare industry. And it's only going to take them to start collaborating with other big pharmaceuticals or other big, sort of consortiums, if you like, within the healthcare sector to really push this even higher. And I do believe in the future, when everything becomes autonomous, and automated, when we have potential chips inside us to tell us we're ill or we need medication or medical help, this kind of Solve tokenomics is going to be massively beneficial in terms of that. And not just with that, I'm sure it will bridge with other chains. We talk about IOTA and stuff like that a lot, which will help with bridging things. But I do generally believe there's fantastic backing with this, and very, very good expertise in the background as well. Health professionals from the director level, from the CEO level, it's absolutely incredible. So go and check out as well on this KuCoin site the blog that they had with the AMA of Solve.Care. It's really interesting to read through. So if you have any concerns or questions about the project, it's really good read this. So I'll try and leave a link in the description below. But I just wanted to bring some top line elements of Solve. We haven't covered it for a few weeks now. And we're going to the chart and we'll explain a couple of things as well. So do go check that out as amongst our other intro videos and everything on Solve as well. Let's go into the chart, smash that like button if you like what you're hearing and seeing, and make sure you subscribe if you have not done so already. We are flying towards 4,000. Looks like we might do that before the end of the month. That is absolutely incredible to be growing this fast with you guys. Hope you're enjoying it. I certainly am. It's great, and I love the engagement with you guys, commenting, getting involved in requests and stuff. Absolutely love it. So thank you very much for that. So guys, currently floating at a price of around 10.85 cents. We are down 12% on the week, that you can see on the indicators here on the right hand side. Still in a bit of a sell mode, 33% down on the month. But the year to date and year in general is not massive compared to many other assets, of course, but it's still very positive to see that. Those that are new are probably wondering what on earth went on here. Literally around this sort of time, mid-October, there was an announcement on their social media everywhere about a potential really big partnership, and they put out loads of sort of clues, if you like, riddles of what it might be, and people going, oh my god, it's a partnership with Apple, oh wow, it's Amazon, this, that, and I was like, where are you getting this idea from? Why would it be Apple? Like, this, that, and the other. Anyway, I was sort of thinking, like, oh, it's going on about ECG, the abbreviations, blah, blah, it's probably to do with heart, and it was a good partnership with the heart company, which is cool. And basically, obviously, the anticipation of this might be a gigantic possible partnership. We've jumped from this sort of 6-7 cents to a all-time high, or certainly a high of around 59 cents, which was actually incredible, really, to see that big move. And then, of course, it came down gradually, I would say. To be honest, I thought it was going to come down quicker than this, but it didn't. And we've staged ourselves just over this 10-cent mark, and we've been very good with Solve if we're going a bit further here. But we knew this was coming. We did say in previous videos, look, this jump is too high. It's in big price discovery mode. There's no support. There's no doubt in my mind it would come back down to these levels. Now, I did anticipate it to come back down just under the 10-cent mark, but I don't actually think we've even gone under 10 cents at all since this period. So it's really interesting to see. I've always thought Solve was a bit undervalued in some aspects anyway, but it was kind of reflective on its journey in the sense that it's quite new. The technology certainly the application is new in terms of a mass market adoption kind of thing. So it's understandable. But yeah, I was really impressed to see thus far, of course. And today we've had this nice Black Friday sale, if you want to call it that. And I thought today might have been the day that Solve comes down below the 9. And it still might do that, by the way, guys, because like I said, from this point, arguably 14th of October, with a high of 9.98 cents. We have had higher before that as well, of course. Back here on the 19th of August, we had 11.8. So it's around this area, really, that we've got some great interest of Solve in terms of its support levels. Now, we have these areas up this back here, and that's why we drew previously that these areas here are going to be very reflective, because it's the same kind of pattern, really. Around this area is kind of rejected. It came back down to around 13 cents. It went on a big tail up and then dropped down significantly over time, and back very low, in my opinion, to 4.5 cents in a mini sort of bear momentum. I was quite surprised at this kind of drop, really, because it had taken up very well up to that sort of 46-cent level, but clearly not ready for that yet. We had this ridiculous move here. Now, I don't know what that actually entails. I need to check back the history of that, but it hit that pinpoint, and very interestingly was the resistors the same point here. So with this kind of project, because the volumes aren't gigantic like they are in other projects, you're going to see probably quite a bit of volatility in and around things like announcements. So it's one of those projects that I'm accumulating for the future for sure, but I think there's very good advantages to be taken along the way. Like I took advantage of this one here. I think I sold just under the 50 cent mark. It was like 47 or something, and I walked back in around 12 cents. And I'm pretty happy with that. I know we dropped an extra 2, but I was sort of anticipating it to come to around 15 to 12 anyway. So, but that's what my point is. Like, there's 2 opportunities in this project personally, and that's why it's important as well, not just from the research perspective, but keep an eye on their social platforms for any other announcements in the future. These kind of things will happen quite regularly with this project and many others like it, in my opinion, on a consistent basis. So it's very much something that is worth sort of keeping an eye out for, if you like, as you move forward. So that's where we are with Solve right now. What do I anticipate for the next few months? Of course, we've had a big drop today. Again, reiterating the point that we haven't dropped below that 10 cent mark, which I was quite surprised at seeing such confidence, if you like, in this project. So it's going to be quite an interesting array of points there to focus on in the coming months, because I think this is a long-term one for me. It's not something I'm sat there going, oh, we're going to make big moves over the next few months. Of course we will I do anticipate we'll get back up to these kind of levels eventually, especially with announcements maybe pushing higher than that 60 cent mark. But I think in general for the short term, we need to gain confirm support line around this 10 cent mark, so we can push this up to another level. I mean, the next bigger marker up, of course, here on here is 16 cents. But I think actually if we were to just pull this out a second, just so I can clear this up on a longer one as well. I would be anticipating that sort of 16 cents is the next kind of big move upwards, if you like. And if we wanted to look at in terms of like a mini macro level, just to sort of anticipate smaller moves, we would be looking really around this sort of 13 cent mark. And I don't think that's difficult. We've been up and around that area over the last few weeks anyway. But it's going to be basically decided, in my opinion, around these next few days. The last 3 or 4 or 5 days, ironically, although it looks very flat, we have actually switched very slowly into a bull move. Okay, not gigantic. It's still questionable in my opinion, but you can see just about the switch over here. I think it was around the 21st, 22nd of November. The RSI has dropped to 38, albeit that was from a sale kind of day to day, if you like, across the markets. But generally been flowing around 40, 42, I think is very respectable positions to be getting for the future, because this kind of eliminates the risk of coming down more. Not saying that it won't come down more, but it reduces the risk of losing too much. Not financial advice, obviously, just opinions of what I do. But it gives more of a chance of coming up, and especially if you're anticipating moves on a 14-day or a 30-day perhaps, and you're looking at things like, right, well, I was purchasing around the sort of 40 mark and it's coming down up to about 80 to 85 or even 70. You're looking at really good sort of levels of return there from these kind of lower prices. So it's a few things to consider in that aspect, but like I said, I'm long term. I'm not majorly fussed, but I will 100%, like I did recently, be taking advantage of announcements or opportunities like this that came about in October. So keep an eye out for that. We'll keep you guys informed as well, and we might be able to enjoy another couple of rides as announcements come out in the near future. So that wraps up Solve, guys. Thank you for watching. We will do another video on Solve, hopefully by the end of next week, or if anything particular comes out in that period of time. But until then, guys, check out the Solve intro video for a bit more of a lowdown of the project, and we will see you in the next Solve update video. Bye bye.